Hey Summoners, how are you doing today? Killing Spree today. Fantastic match. We got TSM versus Mono eSports. Mono making they're making a huge name for themselves lately too.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think for the IPL 4 qualifiers, they played against Millennium, which is a pretty strong European team too. And what's the other team they played? Absolute Legends.
Absolute Legends. They 2-0'd them both.
So like a little history into what Mono is. I think Mono is actually a pretty old team. They used to be called No Girls Allowed back in like Goal for LOL and DreamHack qualifiers. So they've been around for quite a bit. So they're not really new players to the scene. They've always been like a top 12 contender. So you know, it should be a pretty good match because these guys are solid players. So
Yeah.
hopefully they'll put on a good show today.
So I mean, I'm really excited because like you said, you know, they've been around for a while, but this is kind of like this month has really just been an absolute just like breakout month for them. Like now they're coming into the limelight. You know, they've done their Go for Lols. They're here. They're making a fantastic show during our qualifiers. So.
Especially, I think like right now, there's a lot more tournaments going on. There's a lot more opportunities for people to play. So you're gonna see a lot more teams popping out, a lot of teams practicing. It's not really like the top 4 NA teams anymore. You're gonna see a lot more competition, a lot more contenders. You know, as League of Legends gets a lot bigger, you're gonna see a lot more players, and in turn, people are gonna start making teams, and they're gonna try and get a piece of the pie.
Yep.
So it's getting really exciting.
So speaking of a piece of that pie, so Solomid has 2 wins already in Killing Spree. If they beat Mono today,
they're going to be a killing spree.
They're going to be on a killing spree and making a little bit of extra money now from every win from here on out.
So let's just clarify that. So if they win this one, they're going to win 300 for this one, and the next one they win, it'll be 400.
I believe I believe the bonuses comes in on this one.
Oh, really? So they're going to win 400 for this one. The next week 5, then 6, and 7.
We'll see how it goes, and then whoever takes them out will get that progressive bonus, the 400, 500, 600. So.
Oh wait. So okay. So if somebody takes out TSM, say like 6 weeks down the line, when they're already making say $600, so the team that beats them is gonna get 600, and the spree starts over, or does it continue from there?
Well, it's each win after that. So yeah, they'll make that, and then spree starts over again.
Okay. So it's a. Can you imagine if they win like 50 weeks straight? It would be like, oh, every week I'm gonna get a free $5,000.
The show's only been on for a few weeks. I don't want to think that too far ahead.
I'm just like thinking about it. I was like, oh man, that would be great. You know, that's a lot of money to be earned. You guys wouldn't be too happy. You guys don't lose a lot of money.
No, but if we keep on making those views, it'll be worth it. And
yeah, that's true.
Everyone at home, and we appreciate all of you guys watching today. And just because these guys are playing for money doesn't mean you can't win stuff too. Just like before our Twitter contest at IGN Pro League, tweet at us who you think is going to win. We have our Razer mouse pad, and we also have our IPL hoodies. And then our Facebook contest is actually getting extended to Sunday night. So if you haven't done so already, you go to facebook.com/IGN Pro League. Just like us on Facebook. On the sidebar, there's a nice little sweepstakes tab. Just click on there, enter all the details you need. Are going to be right there. So with that, we're just waiting for everyone else to get on into the room. So and also speaking of our IPL 4 qualifiers, round of 8 on Saturday.
And then is it going to be round of 8 and is it going to be quarterfinals, semifinals on Saturday, and then finals on Sunday, or is it?
So we're doing round of 8 on Saturday, and then round of 4 and grand finals on Sunday. So we're going to find out our top 4 teams at the end of Saturday. That top 4 will all be the ones going to IPL 4.
They've already qualified. Now it's just for seeding.
Now it's for seeding
on Sunday.
On Sunday, and whoever wins the whole thing will get their entire trip comped.
Oh, okay.
So
there's a lot online. It's like, you know, it's not just
quite a bit.
You're invited now. You're invited and it's free.
Especially, you know, if we get an EU team to win top prize.
That'd be nice.
That's a pretty good vacation.
It's a very good vacation. Like, I'd always imagine, you know, every time I go to Europe, I was like, oh man, this is sweet, you know. Especially when I went to DreamHack, it's like, oh, sweet. I'm gonna get to go to Sweden, everything's paid for. And then so I'd imagine them coming to America, it'd be about the same experience, right?
You gotta have a DreamHack story for us now. You got anything crazy happen to DreamHack that you want to say?
It's too crazy that I can't talk about on a stream.
Understood. But so wait, we'll just run down the entire schedule for you on Saturday too, if you want to be here for the IPL 4 qualifiers. So 9 a.m. we're gonna start out with CLG EU versus Against All Authority. It's gonna be pretty good. Next one at noon, we're actually gonna see Mono once more, and they're gonna be going up against M5.
That's gonna be a tough matchup.
That's gonna be rough. But
I think they've been playing against all European teams so far.
They have.
That's interesting. So
and good on them to make it so far too. Like they are the biggest upsetters so far. Like I said. After M5 and Mono, we're gonna have TSM versus Curse, which is gonna be fantastic. And then after that, we're gonna have V8 versus Team EZ.
Yeah.
So because of that, so we'll have at least one NA team make top 4. So that's always good. But the Euro teams, they're coming out in full force.
It could be like 3 European teams.
Yeah. It could be, or it could also be 3 NA teams. Never know.
Oh yeah.
You know, if Mono beats M5, Curse beats TCM, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
I kind of want to see more like new faces.
I do too.
So
I do too. Well,
I'm not rooting for anything. It's just more fun to see more people. I'm not saying, oh, I want the American to lose. Oh, I want the European to lose. It's nice to have a variety of background there. It's always more fun.
I mean, V8 and Curse. I mean, they were at IPL 3. It'd be
Yeah,
nice
they were.
to see them again. But I mean, you guys already qualified. You're already in.
Yeah.
So you're
fortunately. Been playing kind of bad lately.
So Epic is already qualified. Dignitas.
Epic, Dignitas, TSM, CLG.
Yep, TSM and CLG. So once again, also if you have any awesome replays that you want to send our way, that is the email you need to know, iplllreplays@gmail.com. If you got any amazing replays that you want to send us, send it our way. We can give you some nice stuff. We also got our top 5 videos going out as well. So if you want to be featured on that, let us know. So we're just pretty much everyone here is in. We're just waiting for the last few members. We also have to swap sides. So, but so we were talking also a little bit too pregame about what champs were both sides are looking to play, and we are on live. And you think we might see a Ziggs ban based after what happened not too long ago?
I really don't know. Reggie is actually like a tougher person to ban out. So depending on if they have like some really, really good comp that synergizes with Ziggs, then maybe. Or maybe if Mono just doesn't want to deal with Ziggs. Because Ziggs is really, really good at zoning melees. And if Mono wants to run a melee heavy team, they're not going to want to deal with Ziggs. So, unless they have a really good melee assassin team where they can, ideally if Ziggs drop down his minefield, if you walk across that, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So if they have a displacement assassin, then maybe they can get over it without getting hurt. But that would be a reason why they would want to ban Ziggs. But Reggie just has a lot of champion that he can play, so it's kind of hard to ban him out.
Yeah. So I think we mentioned we saw before we had a little YouTube video highlight of him playing Ziggs. He had the satchel charge on one side, had the mines on the other. And it was just that's a huge gap to cross. I think like Lee Sin or Jax could traverse that, but you're gonna leave the rest of your team behind.
Yeah, and if you kind of jump over by yourself, you're gonna die.
Yeah. So everyone is here, and we are getting into it. All right. So Mono will have first ban, first pick, and blue side. We'll see what they go first. But, and like I said, this is live, so Sejuani, Ziggs, Nautilus available. Think we might see any Nautilus play?
I don't think. I mean, if it's gonna be played, it's gonna be played for Mono, just because I know TSM so well. They haven't been practicing Nautilus. He's a really, really strong tank. He's good at interrupting, so if they run like Cat, if they run like Nunu, anything that's channeling, Nautilus would be a viable pick. But other than that, I don't know enough about him. And I don't think anyone else. So if he's actually like a sleeper OP and someone's been practicing him night and day, he can like just come out and surprise everybody. But at this point, he's a relatively new champion, hasn't been getting a lot of attention. So because of that, it's just not likely that he's going to be chosen today.
So the Shen ban, not too huge of a surprise. Last patch, he got a huge buff. Karthus and Maokai also being banned from Mono. Maokai pretty beastly in the jungle too. He gets the huge initiations with the Twisted Advance. Sona also being banned now from TSM. Even with the nerfs, she's still an amazing support.
Yeah, it's just like with a Sona and lane and like an aggressive AD, you can chunk somebody for about half their health just within 1 second. So like the way Chao X and Special like to do is when they run Sona, they want to get that Sona like Q combo and the right click off with like maybe the 80 right click, and just by those 3 attacks you can chunk somebody to maybe like half, maybe a little bit less. And when someone loses that much HP early on, they cannot afford to get chunked again. So it's really easy to put the enemy on defensive and play an aggressive lane and deny people. That's why Sona is so strong.
Yep. So, and I've also just trying to just waiting for a last ban here from TSM. That will be Cassiopeia, fantastic mid laner. So let's see, who do we have? So Ziggs is left open, Morgana's open. In terms of jungle, who else do we have open?
Most of the jungles are open actually.
Yeah.
Like there's Lee Sin, there's Sejuani, there's GP, Rammus is banned.
Yep.
Just most of the jungles open, so like in terms of jungling, there's gonna be a lot of variety in terms of who you're gonna choose. So if TSM wants to do that early buff control, they can pick up Shyvana. I don't know if they're picking GP.
Yep.
GP is actually one of Odd1's more played champions, so I'm not surprised at that. Shyvana might actually be picked up on blue team just because I feel like she's really strong if you can like pull it to mid-late game when she actually shines, just because she's naturally really tanky. And so you can build a little bit of HP, build a little bit of tank, and you actually output a lot of damage too. So she's been a top ban recently.
Wait, we did also see a little bit during our qualifiers. Shyvana did get a little. Sejuani did get a little play, and she's actually, from what we've seen, like she jungles pretty effectively, but at very low health. So I'm thinking, we may see something like that. But also, she wasn't in the best team comps either.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Sejuani's she excels in an AOE comp.
Yeah.
And naturally, she doesn't have any type of lifesteal like Warwick would have, or Nocturne, or say Udyr. Even like GP's got his fruit, so he can heal. So Sejuani naturally, she's not super tanky. You don't build a lot of armor into her early, so she does take a lot of HP in the jungle. So that's why a lot of times you see people start with like Cloth 5, but I personally like to start with the Philo. I'm a little bit low, but after I finish the Philo, I can start stacking some HP pots and start looking for those ganks.
So we have our bot lane from Mono. That's Janna and Graves. Pretty good combo. Ryze will be taking mid, and Kog'Maw Gangplank were the first 2 picks from TSM. We've been seeing Kog'Maw also come back into the limelight a little bit.
I have been seeing a lot of Kog'Maw. The thing with Kog'Maw is he's a really strong mid-late game. Kog'Maw Triss, and the game feels like it depends on if you want to play like a snowball or if you want to play like a drag to late game. And so if you want to play like a drag to late game, I feel like GP, Cog, Shyvana is really strong too.
Yep.
And especially with like new Blood Boil that TSM has, they're gonna have a late game beast comp. As long as they don't fall behind early, or even just break even, they can be behind slightly, and then because if just being behind a little bit early game, you can still pull it to late game where you can just absolutely decimate everybody. I can see Cog just killing like 3-4 people by himself late game.
So you think TSM right now is looking to they're going for those one of those stall comps?
I feel like VP is actually a strong ganker. Shyvana is actually not a bad top laner. I'm not too sure of the Shyvana Udyr matchup up top. That could even be a jungler, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's most likely Shyvana versus Udyr up top. So I really can't tell if they're trying to stall or pull it to the early game, or if they're gonna do an early game or pull to late game, because like the AP carry matters a lot too. I feel like it revolves a lot around the AP carry. So once Rainman picks his last pick, we're gonna have a better idea of what their goals are.
Yep. But we do have Mono's team complete. So Udyr, Skarner, Graves, Janna, and Rise. So more than likely, we're going to be seeing that Udyr top lane, Skarner in the jungle, and Skarner a fantastic initiator.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder, he has his pull, but like we've seen before, though, Skarner and Gangplank does definitely kind of get away scot-free from Skarner. But I think the main target here will be Kog'Maw mostly. So but then again, also think we still need an AP mid. Morgana's still open, and that would just shut Skarner down even more.
It's definitely really, really hard for Skarner to gank Morgana. So
and Rainman is left, so we're gonna find out what happened there.
they probably picked
Ziggs.
something.
So we got Ziggs. This is the same thing that happened last time. Last pick did not have Ziggs, so they decided to leave and let it happen.
Yeah, like one of the problems playing on Live Realm is
Yeah.
not everybody owns every champion.
Yeah.
So like for future reference, if you see like a team picking Eve, you shouldn't go, oh my god, really? Are they gonna play Eve? Oh, this is gonna be epic. No, like it's very, very common for someone to message the other team and say, hey, we picked this champion, and then they would pick Eve as a place filler if it's like second, third, fourth, or even first pick. So yeah, in this case, since it's last pick, they can just leave and just type it out.
Yeah. I had no idea she was like the token placeholder.
Yeah, lately she's been the token placeholder. It's like nobody's really gonna pick Eve, so even if you like accidentally pick it, they'll be like, "Are you kidding me? Like it's Eve, come on." Not to hate, but like Eve is one of the weakest champion in the game. I mean, you can still do effectively. You can still play her effectively like once in a while. It's just how freaking can you play her effectively?
Yeah.
So.
All right, so we're just gonna get we're just gonna go ahead, just go right back through this, get this done real quick. So your teams for game 1 is gonna be Mono. They're gonna be running Rise, Janna, Graves, Udyr, and Skarner. TSM's gonna be running Kog'Maw, Gangplank, Shyvana, Nunu, and Ziggs. They just did not have Ziggs on the last pick, so we're just gonna run through and get all these bans and everything done real quick. And once again, these are the same bands too: Maokai, Karthus, Rammus, Shen, Cassiopeia, and Sona. So everyone's just going to go through pick real quick. But yeah, I'm a little I'm concerned for Skarner's ganking potential. So we have Gangplank can get away with
Gangplank can definitely get away. Shyvana is actually really hard for Skarner to permaslow her because once she hits her W, her burnout, she should be able to break loose the leash. Whereas he can't finish he has to proc his Q on something twice.
Yeah.
Either a minion or a champion twice, so the second one would apply the slow. So burnout should be able to put her out, and a lot of Shyvana starts with boots too. So with boots and burnout, should put her movement speed at level 1 to like 420-ish, and Skarner, even if he gets W, most Skarner doesn't have boots. You should put her like at maybe 380 if you have initiator. So him catching Shyvana is not likely top, but once he does hit level 6 and he has like maybe 20, 30, I'd say he needs about at least 30% slows to catch Shyvana. So it's gonna be a while for him to be able to kill Shyvana.
Yep. So and then Ziggs in mid with a satchel charge, he can get away pretty quick. And bot lane, we have Nunu can put Blood Boil on the Kog'Maw and slow Skarner with the freeze. So it's gonna be rough times for Skarner.
I feel like if he's gonna get a kill, he's gonna be mid, just because Ziggs, once he gets suppressed and dragged, he's vulnerable to that gank because it's hard to land a satchel charge perfectly to knock you back once you're suppressed, because not not because it's hard to do, it's just under the pressure,
Yeah.
you know, is a lot harder to do. You mess up a lot more. It's like when you're playing basketball, you're just standing, you know, shooting, nobody covering you.
Yeah.
It's like my free throw would be like maybe 50%. I'm not that good. You know, if someone's like blocking me, standing in front of me, maybe I make like 5%.
Yeah.
But like the same deal, you know, it gets a lot harder if someone's defending or ganking you.
So these are your teams, and then Shen. I mean, like we mentioned before too, like the Shen's still. Where's Shen right now in competitive play? Is he like now like absolute must permaban?
Shen is not really permaban. He's actually just a very, very strong champion. He's like he's top of the food chain. If you don't play him and you don't want the enemy to have him, you ban him. And so leaving him open, you're actually banking on the enemy team not being able to play him if you're not first pick. Because basically any team right now, if you can play Shen, you want him. So
yeah,
he just feels really, really strong. It's just, it's part of that, makes it impossible to gank if you have Shen. Like, you know, you gank a lane, Shen ults in, it's like, oh, psych. Oh, not only is it 3v3 now, but Shen's a solo lane, stronger than a jungle.
Yeah.
And he can taunt you. You do like half damage now, so it's Shen's actually pretty strong. Close to being very, very OP. I'm trying to be more conservative with my words right now.
So these are your teams. We're going to be loading into the game very shortly. While we're loading up, if you haven't already, please do enter our Facebook contest, facebook.com/IGN Pro League. Hit sweepstakes on the side. You can go ahead and win yourself $25 worth of RP. Remember to tweet at us at IGN Pro League who you think is going to win this series. You can go ahead and win yourself a Razer mousepad and an IPL hoodie. I am Hat Person. I am here with Dan Din. This is Killing Spree, Mono eSports versus Team Solo Mid. We will be getting into this in just a few moments. We will be right back. We will see you soon. Everybody, welcome back to this IPL Killing Spree first match, Mono eSports versus Team Solo Mid, Game 1. So, we were talking a little bit during the break. The last pick on Team Solo Mid was Ziggs, and we've seen Ziggs played here before on Killing Spree. But, you know, like I said, you know, I thought Morgana would have been a little bit better pick, help prevent the ganks from Skarner. But I mean, you mentioned that right now Mono's team is very close quarters.
Yeah. The range on them is relatively short. The longest range on the team is Janna, but you don't have to worry about her damage. She's more of like a CC save my team type of champion. Yeah. So, like if Udyr wants to close in somebody, he has to run through a straight line or it has to run in a continuous path. So if Ziggs is able to drop his minefield, right, it's going to do a lot of damage to him. Same deal with Skarner. If Skarner is going to go, he can flash over the mine and ult somebody, but in order to pull him back to the team, if the mine is already dropped, he's got to pull it back through the mine to get to his team. So this is, when you have short-range champions, close-quarter champions, you know, having a lot of like poking AoE poke like Ziggs is actually really, really strong. Like you look at Graves, his auto attack range isn't too long. He's his longest range probably his ult. His buckshot is maybe like about 650, 700 range. So just I feel like Ziggs is gonna do a really, really good job zoning this game.
We will see what happens, and right now Solo Mid's actually pretty content with just taking Mono's Wraiths. While Skarner will be go ahead. He's gotten the Wolves already. We'll be getting the blue. And right now, TSM's looking to steal a red buff. And should be able to convincingly get it. And it appears that Mono has no idea what is happening right underneath their noses.
Like the thing with Skarner is he's heavily dependent on blue. So TSM knows this. A Skarner without blue buff cannot jungle. So, you know, it's almost like they're probably almost certain that Skarner is gonna start blue. So they feel like just sending 4 people in their jungle after warning it is actually a pretty safe bet. So they're able to just completely like take out all of Skarner's farm. Now he's gonna be stuck at level 2 for roughly like until like 3-minute mark, because he's gonna wait for his wolves to spawn before he can farm again. He completely lost his wraith, lost golems, he lost red, so he's sitting around doing nothing at level 2. So that's gonna hurt Skarner, and him hitting 6 is gonna be a lot later. So in terms of safety for Ziggs, is actually he's getting more and more safe, because the stronger or higher level Ziggs gets, the tankier he gets, just because of like passive armor and more HP for leveling. And delaying that Skarner is actually very, very common strategy actually, because it's so predictable.
So Rain Man actually decided to take the red from Odd One to bring it top lane. So what do you think? What do you think that is?
The thing is, Odd One, I think he took their red already, so there's no point in him having red again. So it's better to just give Rain Man the extra like level advantage, that red buff. So I think that's actually a really, really good idea, because right now he's gonna start dominating Udyr, just having that red buff. Because keep in mind, like Shyvana's Q would double proc red buff.
Yeah.
So red buff on Shyvana is actually, I prefer it over having range carry, because not only does red buff give you full slow duration, or slow percentage, I mean, it's gonna apply true damage twice on Shyvana's Q.
So right now, Rain Man placed a ward to make, wow, and Rainman's going to go ahead and push with that ward placement. You're going to know if any ganks are incoming from Nintendo. And bot lane. So Chaos, taking a little bit of a chunk, but right now the creep wave war is actually slightly, ever so slightly, in Mono's favor.
The thing with Cog versus Graves, especially Graves with Janna, is he's expecting to lose the lane already. Well, not in terms of like losing. He's just gonna fall behind in farm just because he's gonna get so much pressure. You imagine like a Graves with a Janna shield. If he is close enough, he can just dash forward, right click, and buckshot. With Janna's shield on him, he's gonna do a lot more damage. So his buckshot's gonna have increased damage. His right click's gonna have increased damage. So this is the type of lane for Cog where he just has to passively farm. It's going to be pushed to tower the entire time, and he has to do his best to last hit under tower.
Speaking of being pushed to tower, Wild Turtle's in a really disadvantaged situation right now. Low on health, low on mana, being pushed all the way to tower, and Rainman definitely got full work out of that red buff here. And yeah, it shows. Shyvana's almost has double. She's got a very fair, actually pretty massive creep lead over Wild Turtle, and he can barely farm. Otherwise, he's at risk of dying immediately. So he has no choice but to back right now.
So right now, like Wild Turtle's got no mana, and oh wow,
ult from Rain Man has procced. Udyr got the turtle stance with the shield, trying to get away. Rain Man chasing all the way into the second tier tower, takes a few shots, unsuccessful.
Felt like he could have gotten the kill.
We
I didn't see what happened.
We have a small technical issue. I'm just going to restart the stream right now. Just a moment. Hold on. Alright. Hopefully everything is a little bit better now. So Rain Man, after that unsuccessful gank attempt, will go ahead and back. So, back to mid. Reginald actually doing fairly well for himself in mid right now. So 46 to 48. I mean, the creep score is even, but Paradoxical is actually taking a few more hits than necessary.
Like in terms of like laning right now, you would expect bot lane for Mono to be slightly winning, just because TSM doesn't have a sustained bottom lane. So it kind of shows in gold. I think Mono's winning slightly in gold. They're up maybe like 100 most right now. And it's going to be until level 6-ish that TSM's going to be able to lane bottom lane.
So TSM is now stealing the blue of Mono. And Nintendo's going to walk in and he's going to see what has happened. And Gangplank will go ahead, walk away. Pings are going down. They will be escaping with that blue buff pretty convincingly. CV goes down, but it's just going to be a little bit too late. And right now, Wild Turtle sees Rayman going back into top lane. Try to get as much push as he could. And also, let's take a look. So he's got level 3 in Turtle Stance now, so he's going to be maxing that out more than likely first. He has Bear just for the stun if he needs it, and going Tiger for that single target damage. He just wants to try to out-damage Rainman as much as he can top lane, because all that AoE stuff, it adds up.
So right here, like the creep's gonna push the tower. I'm trying to figure out how Rainman should farm this. I feel like when the creep was hitting the turret, I mean the siege cannon, he should have just like AoE'd the guys in the back, because it's gonna be pretty hard to last hit. Because Udyr naturally is a very, very strong laner. Without red buff, Shyvana is gonna have a lot harder time now. Like the reason he was able to win the exchange early was because the red buff gave him so much more damage early on. So hopefully the farm that he got early on is gonna push in his favor. So
X-Special gonna go ahead, trying to back, but Pixel is just a little bit too aggressive on KX just for the moment. But Janna does have her Philo Stone. X-Special does not, so he should be backing momentarily to be grabbing that.
yeah, I don't think X-Special has gone back yet. He was just at a Fairy Charm and a Health Pot, so now he did go back. He's got his Philo, he's got 2 ward, a pink and a green, and he actually, I think that Health Pot was already there, so.
Yeah. So the blue buff from TSM being passed over to Reggie. Good choice. Always, whenever you can, bring your blue buff to mid. And Wild Turtle just trying to see, just testing the waters to see how much damage he can do to Rainman here up top. I mean, it's hard to see who's going to win the war top lane in the long run.
I feel like Shyvana, just because, she's such a strong farmer, and even if she is tied with Udyr in team fights, I feel like she's going to do a lot more. Because keep in mind, when she's in dragon form, everything is AoE damage.
Yeah.
And the thing with Tiger Stance is you're a tank and you're doing single target damage. Shyvana can lock down a champion at the same time doing damage to everybody else. So also, I feel like if Shyvana can get enough sustain, she can lane against the Tiger Udyr and just like run back and take Golem every time. So you're gonna see her out farming Udyr 100%, just because she can push lanes, come back, farm Golems, go back to lane, push it again. So she can cycle back and forth and just keep on farming and extending that CS lead.
We saw a Nintendo hopping in on bot lane in the bush, hoping for a game attempt to present itself, but nothing really happened, and he just had to emerge from it empty-handed. All the entire while, Odd One is just still back in his own jungle farming away. So we'll see who has a bit of a lead. Nintendo, actually, Odd One's actually going to come up right behind him. So Odd One actually does have a little bit of an experience lead over Nintendo because of all that time spent.
So right now, anyway, so like right now, Rainman is actually behind in terms of like lane power. Because keep in mind, Udyr's gone back, he's bot. I think Rainman has quite a bit of gold and he hasn't gone back. So what he needs to do is he needs to be able to shove this lane, get down to Dragon, secure Dragon, and then go by. So like what he's hoping for is Udyr to not be able to stun him when he teleports down.
Yeah. But I think so. Udyr's teleport comes back in only a few seconds. Rainman's teleport is up and ready to go. They're still duking it out top lane while the rest of both of their teams are contesting over Dragon right now. TSM has started off Gangplank ult going down on Mono. Mono is now split. Graves is away from the rest of the team. Jan is very close to getting picked off. CV from TSM is going down to make sure Pixel cannot get away. Skarner ult onto X-Special, drag him into tower range, but Jana will go down for the first blood. X-Special tries to do something with the ult, but ends it early. Nintendo is just withering away. X-Special trying to get away. Wild Turtle has teleported in. Paradoxical flashes over and gets the kill on Ziggs. X-Special trying to get away. He does have that blood boil. He does have that extra movement speed. We'll see if the bear stance can help catch up. Flash is down on Wild Turtle, but we might be able to get this if he gets one more bear stance. Can we? He gets his range just enough for the root from Rise.
I felt like TSM played that a little wrong. If Odd One had gone back and raised morale, right?
Yep.
Nunu would have been fast enough to get away from that. He didn't need to die.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I felt like they just weren't thinking of that option at the time.
But Ray's morale is on a pretty decent cooldown. You see, he only has at level 1, so it's a little bit under 20 seconds. But still, though, I mean, we had options. So right now, Mono is now in a superior position for Dragon. TSM is trying, try to get in on some of that, but Mono was able to take it, clear it away.
I felt like Rain Man should have been there, and he wasn't a presence in that fight at all, or I didn't see anything he did. So, like, you saw Udyr come in and picked off Ziggs.
Yep.
That's the reason why Ziggs died, and then he also chased down Nunu. That's the reason why Nunu died. So I was a little curious where Rain Man was, just because I didn't really see him do much there.
I mean, I do feel that TSM chased a little bit further than they should have, and they got them down to the bot tier 1 tower, just enough range for Nintendo to get an ult and start dragging their team into tower range. So like, especially the first one to get in there. So I think that was, I mean, it was more of an extended fight. I think TSM could have just walked away and re-engaged on Dragon while they were all running.
Like, one thing that's foreseeable was that Dragon fight was gonna happen. Shyvana hasn't bought for a long time. What she needed to do is she needed to go back, buy, so she's strong for that fight. That's one thing that she was unable to do, and I think she was losing top before she teleported in. So if she had teleported in, she would have been behind and not as effective as Udyr, just because Udyr bought and she didn't. So like, one important thing in this game is you gotta know when to go buy.
Yeah.
And so that was one factor in why they lost. And just hindsight bias-wise, after Ziggs has picked off the kill deep behind the tower, I forgot exactly who she killed. I think she killed Skarner. Ziggs killed Skarner behind the tower. He turned on Graves and tanked an extra tower hit. Had he not tanked that tower hit and started backing up, Udyr wouldn't be able to pick him off with Graves. So just a little bit of hindsight bias, just a little too greedy there as well. So just, a bunch of little mistakes just cost him Dragon.
Yep. And with that Dragon, Mono has a slight gold advantage, hitting the 15-minute mark. And so, how's Nintendo looking so far with his Skarner? I mean, he has no kills or assists. I mean, his presence is definitely there, especially during that last team fight, dragging Expression to tower.
In terms of like Skarner, at this point, he was very behind.
Yeah.
After he got that Dragon, he's not behind anymore. He's actually ahead of GP in terms of farm, just because he got that Dragon, and also he has gold per 10. So I call these welfare items. Over time, he's just gonna provide you a lot of wealth, I guess. I don't know why. Everybody calls it welfare items, so I just kind of copy it. But over time, you're going to see Skarner being a lot more strong.
Janna with the ult pushing Xpecial to the wall, but Nintendo was not able to, his flash was down, so he could not get there with the ult in time. But and Philostone does build into Shirelia's, which is a very vital item for Skarner, especially with the team. They have a lot of slow potential as well, so he needs to get in there to initiate with his ult.
I feel like at this point, Shyvana's not going to be able to lane against Udyr, just because not only is Udyr a stronger laner, he's actually out farming her at this point. I feel like what Odd One should be doing is he should be giving every single red buff to Shyvana. That second red buff around like 7 minutes and 10-15 seconds, he should have given that to Shyvana. Had Shyvana had that, he would have been able to consistently just pressure Udyr and deny him. I think that would have been a better option than Odd One actually picking up that red buff, because I don't think he converted any kill getting that red buff.
Yeah. And the good ward placement, Wild Turtle sees Odd One coming, sees the ward placement down there.
Yeah, I don't think a gank's gonna happen. I think Odd One's just there strictly for holding lane, because the thing with Shyvana, she's low enough that if Udyr did a double Tiger stance, he'd be able to instantly give her. So
yeah, and Wild Turtle's just pushed so much to the point where he just takes down the tier 1 tower no problem. And it's right now, like, Turtle stance, does he have Turtle stance at 5 yet? Yes, he does. So he's just essentially a massive immovable object at this point. Level 5 Turtle stance, Tiger stance procs that twice. Huge amounts of single target damage. So yeah, and I would not be surprised if he just stays top lane and does not move.
I don't think he's moving much. Like, I feel like Udyr this game, his job is to just farm top lane and keep on pushing, because he's so tanky, right? And he's so fast. If someone's gonna gank him, he can probably get away with just his bear stance and his turtle stance. You know, he can just switch between those two over and over. And not only do you move fast, it's like you get a heal every couple of seconds.
Yep. So Nintendo's spending a lot of time down bottom. He goes ahead, flashes in, ults Chaos, but Chaos will flash away. Pixel out in front with the ult, pushes back X special, and he is slowed, but they're not really going to capitalize very much. 3 ults used on that attempt. Nothing for it.
It's actually pretty hard to gank. If they can't really burst down Cog, he's probably not going to die. And so that's exactly what happened. Because, you know, Cog does have his summer spell. The thing with Skarner is he's relying on his flash ult. And so after he flash ults, if Cog is not dead and Mono doesn't have any more CC, then he's probably going to get away for free.
And Skarner...
Or, yeah,
Mono... Nintendo's opted for an Aegis instead of going ahead and finishing the Shurelya's for the extra movement speed. And right now, nothing is actually being chunked quite a bit at a long range from Chaos. But the turret damage maybe just a little bit too enough. And Pixel comes in, Summoner heal goes off on nothing. That was dangerous. I was wondering why he was still there for a second. And right now, Chaos is to the point where he can do that kind of stuff at long range. So it's a little bit dangerous for them to keep staying in lane. And Wild Turtle just goes ahead and steals TSM's blue. There's really nothing Rainman can do about it.
Yeah, so the thing is like, since Wild Turtle already took down the tower, he actually has a lot of control and power on top lane. He doesn't need to leave because, one, he's already beating Shyvana. He's out farming her. He's taking their buff, taking their jungle. So he's just getting more and more farm than Shyvana. So I feel like Udyr is going to become a bigger and bigger problem throughout the game if Shyvana cannot get him under control.
Yeah, and not to mention his excellent ward coverage here and here, just for any ganks that may be incoming. He's going to know and be able to get out on time. But Reggie
ulted that because he knew Skarner was there, and he didn't want to lose blue buff. You know, thing is right here, I don't think... I'm trying to figure out, was that Odd One Smite? Yeah, that was Odd One Smite. So, like, Mono knows it was a free dragon because, 1, Odd One Smite's down. 2, Reggie bursted blue with his ult. So, they knew, all right, now they can't fight this dragon. Let's just walk in here, take it, and back out. So.
And Nintendo's right behind CV, goes down behind the tower. He goes in, starts tanking the tower. X Special has no choice but to ult, but will be pushed back by Pixel. Pixel actually taking quite a bit of damage from the tower. CV going down from TSM. They want to make sure they have vision in that bush as they're running away, but Pixel's ridiculously low. I worry about her positioning. And TSM's not going to press the matter, but here comes Paradoxical, but the ward in the river will spot him out.
I thought that was a really, really good play by X Special. He preempted ult on tower on top of Janna before Skarner got there, because this is basically saying, hey, Skarner, if you run into ult Cog, you're going to eat my full absolute zero. So he kind of zoned Skarner where Janna lost enough HP where she had to completely back out and potentially could have died. So I thought that was a really good play.
Yeah, I mean, it's Nunu is fantastic as a defensive maneuver, as well as, like, you know, if you have any objectives, or you can even use it like preemptively at Dragon or Baron if you know you're getting attempt. You know, if you know they're going in for the attempt, if you're there trying to take it. But then again, you know, your time may also be better spent with a Smite and Consume if you're playing as Nunu, trying to secure that Baron or Dragon. So we are 21 minutes in. Mono's gold lead is just slowly creeping up over time. And look at, we got a bunch of gold on Udyr. Massive amount of gold. And Rise is actually farming pretty well himself. Actually, Reggie's, it's just farm lane mid. That's all it's been.
Mid is definitely a farm lane. The thing is Ziggs can kill Udyr if he gets farmed enough. And Ziggs is keeping up his farm really well. I think he's at 222, so he's slightly ahead of Rise. What's Rise farm at? I think.
212.
I mean, in terms of like total gold, I think
total
Rise
gold.
should be a little bit higher, right?
Yeah, just wow, yeah, about 700 gold higher.
Yeah, that's the 2 dragon and the kills that you got.
Yep. So the dragons count, dragons matter. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised to see mid lane so stagnant here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, Ziggs will end up being quite a boon for TSM, trying to take down this Udyr because he does have turtle stance, he does have that shield. And he will be, you know, if you want to be able to take out that shield, Ziggs is the guy to do it. And right now, Odd One coming around. CV from Mono sees him coming. They know he's trying to navigate away, but Turtle, this is good. He'd be entering a 2v1 if
So,
he
like,
decides to engage on that.
Udyr's camping GP's golem. I wonder if he's gonna try and steal it.
Yeah. Oh no, almost. He tried to, almost got it. And they're just sitting there, just letting him do it. Because they know there's not really a whole lot they can do against him right now.
I feel like Shyvana getting that early dodge boots, or not dodge anymore, just Tabi, kind of hurt her a little bit. Sure, she gets a little bit of movement speed, but I feel like Udyr's primary damage is all magic damage. Whether it's Phoenix or Tiger, he's almost all magic damage. Getting dodge boots doesn't really help against Rise either. The only one he's blocking damage from is really Graves on the other team. So. Unless he's like tanking every single hit from Graves, I feel like he should have just kept his boots at level 1 actually, and could have put more money into MR, maybe starting at his wit's end. Because the moment he gets his wit's end, he can actually start exchanging with Udyr. Because with his Q proc on wit's end, he's going to be able to do double the damage that wit's end gives him, and burst down that shield a lot earlier and actually apply some damage.
Yeah, so Udyr's Tiger stance. It does scale off AD, but does deal magic damage.
Yeah, it scales off AD for how much damage it does, but it scales off, or it does magic damage. So I feel like getting dodge boots was a little bit wasted up top.
Think Merc Treads may have been a better decision?
I would have just kept boots 1, and she gets enough movement speed where she can't really get ganked. And maybe build Mercs later, because Wit's End is actually a pretty high priority item if you're gonna lane against a lot of magic damage.
So I mean, and I'm also amazed that we're 25 minutes in, and it's only 2 kills per side. It's just been we have seen quite a bit of passivity in both mid. We've a lot of passivity in mid lane, a lot of just an even tug of war bot, and just business as usual with top lane is just Udyr being a pushing maniac. Look at that look at that tier 2 tower. That thing's low, and just only from him pushing.
I think Raymond actually has a lot of farm. He hasn't. I don't think he's gone back to buy it. With 175 CS, he should have a lot more than just wriggles and boots. Yeah. So once he buys, he's gonna be able to lane a lot better.
All right, 3-man gank up top. TSM really trying to get rid of Wild Turtle. Want to get rid of that turtle. 2 ults going down, trying to slow him as much as they can. That turtle stance and ult from Reggie will come in and do the remaining damage they needed to. They wanted him dead.
I felt like Rain Man played that a little wrong. He burnt his flash for no reason.
Yep.
When he could have just ulted for free.
And then while they were chasing the turtle up top lane, Odd One was meandering down bot, got caught, and now Mono will be getting another dragon.
That's a lot of damage they're putting out. I'm seeing like 499, 529 crits.
Huge stuff. So and I feel that
they're gonna take the second tower down bottom too.
It would behoove them to just go ahead and push this while TSM, they have a presence in top lane, and they are actually backing. So Mono will just be able to get a tower and dragon for free in exchange for a tier 2 tower and dragon in exchange for a tier 1 tower. That's a pretty good trade. That's
a very good trade. I feel like at this point it's actually still not too bad. I mean, the gold advantage is about 5,000, but TSM's champion scales better. So in terms of like team fighting, they're not too far behind. Just like strictly gold, they're definitely behind. But actually gold map position, Mono actually has on them. But if they actually fight 5v5, is just who it's gonna come down to who fights better. Because you know TSM has stronger champions, but Mono has more gold. So you know you're debating. All right, they have 5,000 more gold. That means each person on the team is slightly stronger than us, but my champion scales better. So they're exchanging a little bit of gold for a stronger team comp. So hopefully that's gonna pay out for TSM.
Because man, I know Mono's. You know, once we get to a full-on team fight situation, they're gonna want to get rid of Reggie ASAP. I mean, he's level 18 already, 462 AP. That is huge. His ult is doing near upwards of 1,000 damage. But you know, my concern is that when Mono is going to be engaging in these team fights, they're going to have Udyr take point, turtle stance. He's pretty damn tanky. I mean, he's got his Atmas. He's going to be getting his frozen mallet momentarily as soon as he gets the gold.
I feel like he's got a decent amount of MR, more armor than MR, of course.
Yeah.
I feel like Ziggs can still poke him down enough. If he lands a good minefield, right, Udyr wants to run through it, he's going to take a lot of damage. So in terms of killing Udyr, I feel like Ziggs still has the potential to do so. So Mono can't get too aggressive right now. It would have to open up with a really good Skarner ult, either on Cog or Ziggs. Anybody else is just not worth it. So depending on how the team fight breaks out, it could either be very favorable or just detrimental to Mono.
And also, Reggie did buy a Void Staff, trying to scale out some of the MR granted to the team from Nintendo's Aegis and you know other various magic resists they have. Rise has the Banshees, Udyr has the Mercury Treads. So I think that was a you know just knowing, or even anything, just focused for Udyr just to chunk off some of that MR, because you know 100 MR, that's a 50% damage reduction. And right now, while Turtle is actually being a little bit overzealous, trying to get some damage in that special while he's a little bit out of position, Reggie will go down the minefield as they're trying to get back into lane. And right now, Mono is actually pinging over at Baron. Ward's going down, CV going down. TSM knows they're in the area, but they haven't started yet.
That was a really good CV. I think the whole Shirelias kind of gave it off too. You know, if you're gonna Shirelias. Oh,
Nintendo flashes in, but doesn't connect with anything. Chaos is engaged in by Rise. Ziggs ult comes in and gets pretty much everyone. Nunu ult goes down to try and get the slowest as we can, and right now Mono is actually losing this fight, having to retreat. Nothing is one more auto attack away from going down. Odd One is in chase. Paradoxical trying to get damage on him while he's trying to get that last shot. Manages to get a kill, manages to get another kill on Shyvana. While Turtle comes back around, focusing down Reggie with the Tiger and the Turtle. Don't step on those mines. Whatever you do, Graves, don't step on those mines.
Oh my god. TSM had already won the fight.
Yeah.
And then they choked into that area, and then just Graves hit everybody, and they just turned on him. That was just, because you know, you chase without vision. It's actually very dangerous.
And they used their CV already just to confirm, you know, what they already knew for Mono. They knew they were going to Baron. They didn't necessarily need to see it, and now the CV's back up. Now they know for sure they're doing Baron, but they should be able to take this down, mainly just from Wall Turtle alone. X Special gonna try in. That smoke screen will prevent him from getting from attempting a steal of any sort. He's getting slowed, but I would not recommend they engage on this.
I felt like TSM would have won that fight.
They over pursued nothing. He was one auto attack away. They thought, you know, we'll chase him down, we can get it. But Paradoxical was running point and was able, while they're chasing, just getting damage on him the entire way.
Basically, since they have two melee champions, right, chasing Graves, and they also choked right into their buckshot. His buckshot was able to do probably almost full damage, and then Udyr, you know, is pretty tanky. He was able to stun and CC both, you know, GP and Shyvana. So Graves can just stand there and actually lifesteal a bit off of them. So that actually destroyed them. Because as you see Udyr and Graves running away, you see I think it was Shyvana and GP chasing. You know, Graves throwing that buckshot out, throwing those auto attacks in. So you see GP just get chunked really hard. So you know, it comes to a point where they're just going to die in the next buckshot or a couple of bursts. And that's exactly what happened. And Ziggs really, really wanted to finish him off, so he actually walked into a brush without vision. Or maybe, I see a ward there, so I'm not sure if that was then or now. Can you click on it really quick and see the timer on it?
No timer.
Oh, there's no timer?
Yeah. But still though, I mean, they knew Paradoxical was running point. They knew that going into it, if they're going to go ahead and pursue for this kill, that they're going to be taking something from Rise, and you know, they got overzealous, and you know just gave up a one fight, trying to get one, to try and just get a little bit more, and that's what happens when you get greedy sometimes. And from that, they've also given up Baron, which one of their members actually managed to respawn just in time to grab it. Rise unfortunately did not, but you know what? They got Baron, TSM does not, so they have to play defense a little while. Buff is a little bit past halfway done.
Like, interestingly enough, like Ziggs is really, really good at zoning them. You saw that when, you know, you counter initiate, drop those mines, just do a ton of damage. So, you know, TSM isn't out of it as long as they team fight correctly.
Yeah.
Ziggs is meant for not allowing the enemy champion, to like lock you down, right? Just, you can zone them. Not too much chasing. It's the moment they started chasing, that's when they lose. You know, they want to be able to have them get baited into Ziggs' mines, baited into Ziggs' just Q and his satchel.
I mean, I do fear it may be a little bit too late, because you can't really beat someone down the rabbit hole if you're playing on defense and camping towers. So so the Baron buff should be down shortly. It's about 25% left on that timer, and those mines are a great zoning tool, just keeping Wild Turtle from taking that route to try and get a stun in. But Mono, with their last bit of Baron, should be able to just push up one more creep wave to try and take down this tower. But those bombs, Ziggs is actually doing a surprising amount of damage to Wild Turtle right now. That bush is warded. They know Mono is moving up top lane.
So the thing with Ziggs is he's really, really good at defending towers. So
yeah,
even though Mono has Baron, you know, it's no guarantee that they're going to take any towers. What they need to do is they need to 5-man group, clear wards, and just zerg towers when people aren't there. You know, they just tank the tower and kill it, tank the tower and kill it, and just rotate.
What they're going to do right now. Top tower only had a little bit of help with courtesy of the Wild Turtle push. And like, I think they may just do the same here at top, or go around back through mid.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Pixel getting chunked from those mines. Just gingerly walking through those to try and not hit any more.
Yeah, so, like, at this point, like, I feel like Mono can get the outer tower if... Oh, Reggie needs to be there. He is not there. He needs to be there.
Oh, and those bombs taking a huge, massive chunk from Graves, and Nintendo getting in the engage. Ult goes down. Nunu does get pushed back from the Janna ult. Nintendo does fall. Wild Turtle is in the middle of it. Can you get another stance up? Can you get some more shields? No, you cannot. Kog'Maw falls. And it's kind of it's still hard to see who's actually winning out of this fight. And now we see TSM having no choice but to fall back. And Pixel, don't die to minions, please. And Mono has pushed TSM
I think Mono's got this game, because what happened was Grave was just insanely low, and he was able to just heal back up.
Yep.
Just auto-attacking people and champions on the side, actually. There was a really good ult on Chowx. That's probably the biggest reason why they won. It's because Chowx completely shut out of the fight and basically died and couldn't do any damage. So that's like one of the weaker aspects, you know, like if he gets engaged on and you know, you don't have anybody to heal him, and he's getting dragged through to the enemy teams, and if he dies, he's relying solely on his flash to get out. He doesn't have a built-in escape too. In terms of raw damage, Cog's got a lot. He just doesn't have the escape, doesn't have the support to live. So in a game that you're already winning, had they not given up those kills, given up that Baron, Cog actually would be able to do something. But it's at this point where you know, the enemy team is really, really tanky. Udir's able to just run in there and just kill Cog. He basically almost soloed Cog through the entire TSM team.
And right now, nothing has bought himself a Guardian Angel. He's bought himself an extra life with that. Udyr, Force of Nature, really just wants to stick it to Ziggs, be on the front line, tank all the damage that Reginald has to offer. Reggie getting a Deathfire Grasp, actually. Get a little bit more Magic Pen, and with just a little bit more health. I'm trying to do some quick math here on how much more damage it actually does. So 500 ability power is 17% more. So that's 45, 47% damage done with the Deathfire active, I believe. That's taking half life off that Udyr. If he can get in range, that's pretty good. Especially, you know, with all of that armor, with all of that MR.
So they're just waiting to get Baron again. Like,
yep.
Mono's in the position where they can just control every single buff in the game. So
they might just be able to take it before TSM actually gets down here, but they're going to play it safe. They're going to back off. CD has gone down. Reggie playing the poke game, and Wall Turtle actually charging in without his team. Mono, I'm not sure if Mono's quite coordinated about if they want to engage this or not. We saw Udyr engage without his teammate. Special is actually being caught out. Ice West does have to go down to prevent him from getting that stun up intended. Ulting Reginald, bringing it back immediately, melts before the ult even ends, and now they should have a very safe Baron.
yeah, that's a free Baron.
Yeah.
I didn't quite catch exactly what happened. I wasn't sure why Reggie was up there, but
Yeah.
I felt like their team was a little split, and it was just
Rayman teleporting into the Baron pit. Or is Mono just going to go ahead and let them take it with the ults?
no. They're gonna kill
Oh,
Rayman.
Rayman's there. Rayman does fall. Mono gets the last hit. For a second, it was like, are you just going to abandon it, or are you just going to let him stay there? No. Ult
This
from-
could very well be the game.
It could be game.
Just because Reggie's down for 20 seconds, that's a free mid-inhib, and after that, there's just so much creeps. They can just rotate bottom.
They shouldn't even just be wasting their time. They should just go right into the tower and right to Nexus. But they want to secure the inhibitors. They want to make sure that in the event something goes wrong, they can come back in. Inhibitors going down one by one. Reginald comes back up. Rayman's going to be back up in 25 seconds. But it does appear that this may be just a little bit too late. All minion waves colliding in. Last Nexus turret is down. Ult goes down from Reggie. This is the last stand. TSM needs to make something happen here, but the Nexus will go down way too quickly. And game one is going to go to Mono eSports. Good job. Wow.
They've been putting on a really good show lately.
Yeah.
Absolute Legends and Millennium, now TSM.
Mono absolutely proving that they are here to compete, man. Wow.
I mean, like, I'm seeing a lot of just up-and-coming teams just taking games. It used to be like, top 4 team just wins almost every time. Now you're seeing, lesser popular team just taking, like, sets from them. Like in maybe like 10 sets or something, like a higher rated team would, win more. But given like the way tournaments been going, there's a lot of opportunities for these up and coming teams to just come out and upset a lot of teams. So.
I love seeing this happen, and really just the guy who made that game happen. I mean, Wild Turtle on Udyr, top lane, just a massive pushing machine, unmovable object.
I felt like he was in the position to shut down Udyr, and it just stopped after a while. Just not going back and buying items frequently enough makes you weaker in lane. So when the enemy comes back and buy, I saw Rayman banking 2,000 gold, and he's just playing passive at the tower while Udyr is just farming more and more. He probably just should have picked a good time and gone back and buy. That way he can start trading with Udyr again. So
yeah. So that is game one gonna go to Mono. And we're gonna head into game two in just a little bit. So this is the time for you. If you want, get a snack, go to the bathroom. Like we said before, at facebook.com/IGN Pro League. Go there, enter our sweepstakes. Still waiting to see, tweet at us who you think is going to win this series at IGN Pro League. And you put yourself in a running for that Razer mousepad and hoodie. I'm going to be leaving it for Game 2. Baron's going to be coming back in. IPL killing spree. Mono showing they're here. They are major upsetters. They're here to show off what they've got. I'm Hat Person. I'm here with Dan Din. We're going to go to ads, and we will be back in just a little bit, so stay tuned.